I want to talk a very short bit about the concept of rejection in admissions, which interestingly enough is a word that we don't use in admissions. We say denial. And the etymology of it is kind of fascinating from an applicant standpoint. They've called it dings, dongs, now it's R. But it's never really rejection. And let me give you the behind the curtain, inside small ball of what happens in admissions. Every office has a scoring system, and a lot are on this Likert-like 5-point scale. So to simplify, 1's an admit with money, 2's an admit, no money, 3's a wait list, oddly 4 seems to always be skipped, and 5 is a deny. Well, over time, most offices have trended to this nuanced system of like 3++, so like super high wait list, or 2-, and we'll stick to this, super low admit. What's the difference then between a 2-, an admit and a 3++? It could incredibly easily be the mood of the person reading the file that day. It could incredibly easily and likely be they just have a need for a certain data point that doesn't align with you. It's not your data point. Is that a rejection of you? Of course not. Not in a million years. Is the mood of the admissions person reading your file a rejection of you? No, never. These things are evolutionarily supersized, and let me explain what I mean by that. For hundreds of thousands of Homo sapien existence, we survived by being in tribes and packs. And the early detection signal that you were going to be kicked out of the tribe was feeling rejection. So what happened? Those who didn't have that gene, that detection signal, were kicked out and they didn't pass on their genes. They died. Those that did stayed in the tribe and lived. And over time, that rejection gene has become supersized. So it makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint. But again, let's just revisit admissions. The person reading your file knows nothing about you. They're not kicking you out of any tribe. In fact, in admissions, it's really fascinating. So many people we can't admit, we want to admit. This isn't just my opinion. I've heard so many friends of mine who are deans of admissions officers say this. There's just not enough room. If you want to think in terms of rejection, it's the opposite. They want to admit you, they just can't. But I would argue that there is no such thing as rejection in admissions because these are cursory decisions based on static data points in time in incredibly limited data. Whether it's the application or a 10 to 15 to 20 minute interview. So if you've been denied to a few law schools, know this. It's their loss. It's not your loss, it's their loss. You're going to go on and you're going to kick ass in law school and you're going to kick ass in life and do amazing things. And the funny thing is they probably know that. There's so much about you they don't know, but they probably realize from that 10-page paper that so many people they can't admit are going to go do wonderful things. You're one of them. Hopefully knowing a little bit about the nuance of this process, please don't ever think of a denial as a statement about you. Please don't ever think that if law school throwaway 321 was just admitted to your dream school, that there's anything different or better about them than you. Because on any given day, that could have been you, not them. I hope this was helpful. This was Mike Spivey. Dig in.